be kind to yourself, just because there were so many years where I just wasn't kind to myself. Meaning I'd get in the gym and I would just I think I felt like I had to be dripping sweat to think, oh, I had a good workout. And that's where my mindset was for a long time. It doesn't have to be that way. Not at all. In fact, you could just be cleaning your house and doing garden work and walking around your house, and you're still getting a good workout in. And sometimes you just have to be okay with that, right? And not beat yourself up, because for many years I did beat myself up.
You're listening to My Evolved Life, a podcast that simplifies health and fitness and helps you maximize your life. My name is Vuna Win, and I'm the creator of the Evolution Training System. We're so lucky to be living in the information age, meaning it's easier than ever to access information and find answers to any questions you may have. But isn't it confusing when you read information that's conflicting, or worse yet, just sounds wrong? I'll be sitting down with industry professionals to give you clarity and leave you with tangible actions you can take immediately to improve your physical, mental, and psychological health. Today's guest is Christine Bezzant. I first came across Christine when I saw her profile on Instagram, where she's the fit mama of 6. That gives you a little bit of insight into who she is. But as I first got to know Christine, dialogue with Christine, learn a little bit more about her, primarily through Instagram, of course, as much as you can through an interface like that, I started to really resonate with that message, the way that she approaches exercise, the way that she's carried it with such longevity, the way that she approaches it, her mindset around it. It really, really started to resonate with me. So I thought she was the perfect guest to bring onto the show. I don't want to give too much away. I want you to be able to tell your own story. So Christine, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey towards fitness and health, and of course, about your 6 kids.
All right. So yes, I am a mother of 6 kids, and I do have 3 grandchildren, with another one on the way in September. My fitness journey started about almost 30 years ago with my oldest son. With each child that I had, I would introduce maybe one more thing into my fitness routine, whether that be starting off with classes. Then I would start in with spin. Then I kind of went into running, and I did a marathon, and that was so fantastic. And then I had injuries, so then I had to shift again, and I started into weightlifting and a lot of HIIT intervals. I started introducing that in probably after my 5th baby, and that was about 2001. So with each child, I've been on a fitness journey. I've discovered new and different ways to get fit, that there's just not one way to do it. There's many ways. There's a handful of ways. And I feel that each time, like I had a passion for running after my 4th baby. But because of injuries and a meniscus tear, I was told never ever run again. And that was taken from me. And so I mourned the loss of that little part of my fitness life. But I figured out that there are other things that you can do. And I feel like with fitness, that is always the key. You will always be shifting, changing, doing different things, because our bodies change as we get older. I'm not the same person that I was when I was 23, when I had my first child. I am now 52, on my way to 53. So as I've gone through the years, I feel like my fitness has changed in different ways. But it has changed for the better. It's not necessarily bad, or it's just has always shifted into different directions. And so the reason I started Fit Mama of 6, it was about 2014. And at that time I had a lot of children at home, and I had a lot of balls in the air. I had kids in high school, all the way down to kids still in elementary, and a child still at home, like a baby. So I had to figure out how to make it work for me. And at that time, my home gym was where it was at that time in my life. And so I wanted other women to be able to use what they had around the house and to be able to get a good workout in. because at that time in 2014, as I was on Instagram, I noticed there were a lot of women who were at the gym. And at that time, that wasn't possible for me. And I wanted to still be able to get a good workout in. I wanted to still be able to have my fitness at a place where I was just pleased and happy and progressing. And so I started working out in my basement. And at that time, I started videoing just small little segments or tips that other women could do at home. Now, I would get a lot of silly comments on my Instagram, like, "Oh, you're using a broom today. Great." "Oh, you're working out in your living room again. Okay." But as you notice Instagram today, because of COVID and the pandemic and having to stay at home, you're noticing a lot of creativity in workouts, which I love. I'm passionate about it. I love hopping onto my favorite fit accounts and seeing what new thing are they doing today, and taking that information and maybe incorporating it in my workout today. So
I really like that.
that was a lot of
No, no,
information.
no. I think that was the perfect amount of information. But the biggest thing that I took away there, and really, this sums it up so, so well. But you articulated that your fitness journey wasn't just a single journey in and of itself. It's not linear, where that's the mistake that I believe a lot of people get into. It's that mindset of, oh, well, I'm not doing what I was capable of doing 10 years ago, 20 years ago. So I might as well just give it all up. But the way that you articulated your story is within your journey of health, your journey of exercise, there were many, many series of micro journeys along the way, right?
Yes.
So, out of curiosity, then, how have you been? So, what are the things that you do to allow you to be so accepting of change? I think that's the biggest thing that you can pass on to somebody else, right? It's again going back to we don't like change, we don't accept change, but it seems that you've done so, and very radically so, as you've had your 6 kids.
Boy, that is a good question. I have to tell you, honestly, when running was taken away from me, I went through a long period of mourning. I mourned that loss of not being able to run. I had deep connections. Um, when I would run, I would solve my problems. I would watch the sunrise, and I could come home with a new feeling of like renewed strength that I could keep going. So when running was taken from me, it rocked my world, and it literally did.
Mhm.
So I had to come to terms with it and then say, there are so many other things I can do. So what is that? And I started in with spin classes, and that was very friendly to my knees. And at that time in my life, I needed my spin classes.
Mm.
It was kind of a little bit of my saving grace at that time. I needed something to get my heart rate up, but yet very body and knee especially friendly. Um, and I, after I came off the bike, I would feel that I feel good. I feel like I can handle my day and conquer it. And that was really entrenched in my workouts during the week. I would take in probably 2 or 3 spin classes. That was about, I want to say about 8 years ago. And I have since taken the spin out because I've taken the cardio portion of my workouts down to more weightlifting and a small amount of hit. Because right now, where I'm at, that is working for me. So I haven't revisited the spin classes, but that's okay, right? Every single journey we take, I kind of got it out of my system. And then I thought, I'm going to now focus more on my bones, because I'm in this stage where women are breaking bones. I'm in my menopause years. And that's a hard place to be. Women out there who are in their 50s and going through menopause, premenopause, menopause, postmenopause, that is a whole different ball of wax. It really is different. And for me, I now realize that what I'm doing is really helping me kind of not hormonally, but it makes me feel energized again and I feel fantastic. And I feel like I've accomplished what I needed to accomplish when I get those workouts in. Um, so yeah, I mean, that's just where I'm at right now, Vu.
You've already touched on this of the next question that I had, um, but maybe let's break it down into bullet points. It sounds like so you've been involved in exercise at some capacity over the course of 30 years, meaning that you started your fitness journey in your 20s. So as you went through these different journeys in your exercise the course of your exercise, how have your goals and your mindsets around exercise changed along with that journey? So just to clarify, I assume the way that you looked at exercise, your goals might have been different at 20 than it is today.
Yes. I would say in my 20s, I was just starting into my fitness journey. So I didn't have a lot of goals. My main goal was just to be able to feel good in my body after I had each baby. And that's how it was for a very long time. I would say probably even after I had my youngest in 2004, it was just trying to get back into shape and feeling good about myself and my health um, and not killing myself, obviously, because I had to always be present as a mother. And my husband travels for his job, and so I was mom and dad, and so I was very kind to my body, but yet I wanted to get a good workout in. I would say it was in my 40s, probably a good decade, where I really hit it hard. And when I say that, I would come into the gym, I jump rope, I push that sled. I would kind of kill myself. And I that was before I would go upstairs and then I would go do squats, deadlifts. I mean, I was hitting it pretty hard. And I had some really good friends that would come meet me at the gym, and we would all just go through this pretty rigorous workout. I did that for a good 10 years.
Wow.
And I would say close to being about 50, I, I started thinking, this is not for me anymore. I can't keep this up. This pace is slowly, it's making me too tired. I'm getting older. I wasn't being an effective, positive person that I feel that I am normally. I feel like on the whole, I'm a pretty positive person, but I was exhausted, all for the sake of being fit. Okay. So as I've gone into these later years of my life, I've um, made it so that my fitness is it's kinder. I feel better about myself. Maybe 5 minutes of something pretty quick on the stairs or a jump rope, and then I go right into lifting. I probably do 30 to 35 minutes of lifting, and then maybe a 10 to 15-minute cool down. And I feel like right now that's working for me. I'm a happier person. Um, especially when grandchildren come into town and I am the babysitter.
Yeah.
And in my where I'm at right now, I just need to have that energy. I can't sap myself. So it's just being a little bit more aware of where I'm at in my life. And right now I'm at a place where I need to be kinder to myself. So
That's unbelievable because one of the things that I always say, and I try to be very, very vocal about this, is that fit, fit is super, super subjective, right? It's sorry, not even it's relative to the person, right? And your story is evidence of that. Even for you personally, the idea, the definition of fit evolved as time progressed. At one point in time, when you first started, it was just to get healthy. And then in your 40s, when you were really pushing it, maybe you had a little bit of an aesthetic drive. You wanted to, you had some other reasons for doing it. But now that you have grandchildren, it's keeping up with them, it's babysitting with, and playing with them. So your ideal fit is much different than it was in your 40s, 30s, and 20s. And that, I think, therein lies a large problem with the fitness industry. Not as a whole, but I think for me, it's just the way that it's portrayed on social media. And not just social media, but just in media in general, right? Predating Facebook, Instagram, we had magazines, we had TV ads where we were forced to look a certain way, dress a certain way, whatever it was, right? And that actually caused my upbringing, my late teens, my early adulthood to be very, very difficult as well, where I didn't fit into that standard. Anyways, that's my bit there. I try not to get into social media too much because I tend to go off on tangents. So I want to pull that back. One of the most impressive things about you and why I thought you had to be on this show is, of course, going back to the fact that you have 6 kids. Now, a lot of our customers, a lot of our clients happen to be mothers, and they're mothers of 1, 2, 3, or 4. And one of their biggest struggles is finding that time, finding that finding ways to prioritize themselves, not just even fitness, but just prioritizing themselves without feeling guilty. What advice could you give to these moms who are struggling, putting themselves on the forefront, finding 15 minutes a day or whatever that may be for exercise?
Yes. So I would work around my children's schedule. That was most important for me to make sure that I was there when they were around. If they were at school when they got older, then it was easier to hit the gym. But during those years of a lot of little kids at home, um, like I said, I would work out in the basement. When my babies were sleeping, I'd do it in the afternoon. Um, Sometimes I would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning in my 30s and early 40s. And that's a hard thing to do, is getting up so early. But I needed to get it in so I could be at home and take care of my children and their needs. Um, I don't know, Vu. I would say any advice I would give to another woman, and I honestly, I think of my daughter because she has 2 little ones at home and she's going through that right now. She has weights in her bedroom. So when she puts her youngest down, she picks up her weights and aren't we lucky today that there are apps out there? So if you have a favorite person that you follow that has an app, or maybe you like a certain routine, you can do that in your room. And I've seen her do that. I used to just put my babies down, bring the baby monitor down to the basement. And if I could get 20 minutes in, I had to be happy with 20 minutes in. And then I had to keep moving on. And it's just like what you say, you can't go into it thinking, I'm going to get my hour and a half in, and this is where it's going to be. It could be 15 minutes. It could be throughout your day. It could just be like being super active all day long. You could be cleaning your house, doing your dishes. You could be going outside and reading while the kids are playing around. It's whatever and however you can make it work as a mother, because there are no set rules here. It is whatever and however you can make it work. And that's just what I did. And I made it a priority. If I don't make it a priority, it's not going to happen. But it is ingrained. It's been ingrained in me since, I was 23, that I needed to get a workout in. I needed to get something in to just get. A lot of it has to do with endorphins too, because you get those happy endorphins when you get just a little bit of workout. And even if you go for a walk, I'd be big and pregnant, and I put 2 kids in a burly and just go for a walk. I couldn't run. I would just go for a walk around the neighborhood, and then I would call it good. And that was my workout. And so as you go through your fitness journey and you're pregnant and not pregnant, and there's so much you can do. So it's making a priority in your life.
For sure. Now going back to your kids, of course, I love the fact that you have 6 kids. I'm going to keep on going back to that. One of the biggest issues that I see in today's society, and it's not just me, this is very, very public, but in America, 1 in every 3 kids or something like that is obese, because they're very sedentary, they're not active, they're eating very poorly. Um, so given that you are so passionate about exercise and fitness, how have you found that has impacted or influenced your kids? Well, it sounds like one of your daughters
Great
at least
question.
is working out in her bedroom, making it a high priority, right? What about the other five?
Yes. Okay. So the years that I went running, my oldest son had maybe a little some weight issues, and I, as a mother, didn't view him as that. He came to me and said, "I want to get fit." So I said, "Let's go running." That's what I do. You can start running with me. We can run around the block. And so that's what I did with him. With my second oldest daughter, she wanted to go to the gym. So she said, "I want to lift weights." So I'm like, "Let's go. Let's go to the gym." So I would go whenever it was available, whenever she could after school. We would go to the gym together, and I would just show her how to do very basic things at the gym. From there, it, as down to another daughter, and then another daughter, and then a son, and now I'm on my youngest. She could only go in the afternoon, so I would go with her at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and she said, "I really want to go to the gym." And at first she said, "I want to have six-pack abs," and I said, "Don't we all?" And I said, it's a journey. This is your fitness journey. It takes time. And so I introduced her to the gym because that's where she wanted to go to lift weights. Now, during the pandemic, we made our little gym down in the basement. She still would get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and she would come downstairs and we would go do a workout together. And so she's now my little workout partner. Um, but each one of my kids have taken that time with me, and they do now what I was doing. So, like I told you, my oldest daughter, who has the two grandbabies, she works out in her room sometimes.
Hmm.
My third daughter, or my second daughter, she's pregnant right now. So working out is really hard for her. At that time, I was just walking around the neighborhood when I was pregnant. And then my next daughter is probably better at fitness than I am. She will kick my butt.
Yeah.
So, meaning I take her in the gym and she's squatting and deadlifting and she's doing all these fantastic things, and it's just a blast because I've watched all of them blossom. But I feel like I have um, walked the walk, talked the talk. I've
Mm.
taught them how to take care of themselves. We've discussed nutrition. All that is up to them. I feel like I've given them um, my information, and I'm always available for them. Anything they want, I will take them to the gym. I will work out in the basement. We sit and talk about, how do we eat, especially with my high schooler. She's in those high school years where she just wants to eat anything, but then we get in the gym the next day and she doesn't feel well because of the way she's eaten. So isn't that great? We're learning lessons. So I enjoy it. It's a passion. And I love that my children are on this journey with me, that they're adults and they've just taken the ball and they've just run with it. It just makes my day. It makes me so happy. So
It's incredible because evidence says that you are what you're exposed to. And for your eldest, she has been exposed to exercise the entirety of her life. All 30 years of her life has been around a family that is very, very active. And likewise for your youngest, who is probably the most prone to influence because she has five elder siblings, she's been exposed to 16 full years of exercise and healthy living. I mean, you could field a Bezzant basketball team or a hockey team. That's amazing. Um, but that's so cool. So as a family, then I guess the 8 of you, do you guys ever do any activities together?
we hike, and um sometimes we bike. I don't have enough bikes for all of us. It's
Yeah.
just so many when we all get together. In fact, last night my husband said, "Do you realize that all of our children are going to be under our roof this weekend?" And I
Oh
said, "Oh,
man.
it's amazing, except for the son-in-laws. The two son-in-laws are not coming. If they were, it's fun chaos. It literally is chaos, but it's fun." um I would say as a whole, hiking is our thing. We love it. And we have a great vacation coming up in August where we're going to the beach. beach activities. I do have some kids that like to run on the beach, but I'm not that person right now. I will enjoy them doing that. So it's right now we haven't been all together, but when we are together, we actually all end up at the gym. So you'll find like 6 of us walking around, and people are like, what is this crowd of people here? And you know what? I'm telling you, I'm just smiling ear to ear because I'm like, these are my people.
Yeah.
So
It's so funny because I'm close to my mom, very, very close to her. I'm 33, sorry, 34. I can only imagine what I was like at the age of 16. I was always a good kid. Still close to my mom then, but just to imagine wanting to go to the gym with her, I don't think that was a thing. So that's very impressive. That only shows the bond that you have with your children. The fact that she wants to go to the gym with her mom, she's not embarrassed. So you know how teenagers are, right? That's amazing. So we've talked about the past, we've talked about the present. Let's project forward a little bit. Now, I didn't want to date you, but you've already dated yourself. So you're in your early 50s. What do the next 10, 20, 30 years look like for you in terms of staying healthy and staying active? I asked that question because, well, knowing who you are, you're not going to give it up just because you hit a certain age.
absolutely not. I hope to still be able to lift weights. For right now, that is my passion, is making sure that my body is strong. I will forever do core workouts or ab. Um, my core, all of our core, it just needs to be strong. And especially as you get older, you lose your balance. There's a lot of things that happen and it happens like very slowly. You're unaware, and these things are happening, and you're walking along and you break your foot, or you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
especially as we get older. So I'm so aware of the things that I need to be doing to keep me healthy. I just make sure I do a little bit of HIIT to get my heart rate up. Um, I still love to bust out the battle ropes. I'm hoping that that's still part of my life. I love my kettlebells and dumbbells, barbells. I love it all. I'm just hoping that moving forward, I can still be doing those things just to keep my body strong. Um, so let's keep our fingers crossed. That's my hope. I won't know, Boo, until I go through this journey, what changes may take place, right? Because I can't just be saying, oh, well, this is my plan. Because what happens with me is once I set a plan out, I'm hyper focused. And if anything, if there's any change, like what you said, I get I get like really depressed because I'm like, I don't want to change. It's just like what you were saying. So I don't know what the future holds for me. I'm hoping that I stay healthy and strong and my body's strong, that I can do those things still when I'm throughout my 50s and into my 60s and hopefully 70s. So um, it's anybody's guess.
And that's great. I mean, even though the future itself is uncertain, there is a certainty though. Just knowing who you are, whatever changes comes your way, you're going to find a way to adapt and find programs that work to you in that present moment, whatever that may be, right? So let's wrap it
Right.
all up here. You've learned over the course of 30 years, clearly you've learned so many different things. You've picked up little tips and tricks and made mindset shifts and what have you. If you could wrap it up into one single biggest takeaway, what would that be? It's a big question. Take some time.
Well, um, that is a big question. I would just say be open to change, um, and make sure to value your health and fitness so that you make that time during your day, whenever that is, to bring something in to get your heart rate up. Be mindful of your condition and where you're at in your life. If you have the little ones, the babies, just know that it's okay. You're going to get a great workout at home, in your room, or if you go on a walk, just understand that this is all this is all good. And not to get too down and depressed because I'm not in the gym and I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that. Um, I would just say, even for me moving forward, that you need to be open to change and be kind to yourself. Just because there were so many years where I just wasn't kind to myself. Meaning I'd get in the gym and I would just I think I felt like I had to be dripping sweat to think, oh, I had a good workout. And that's where my mindset was for a long time. It doesn't have to be that way. Not at all. In fact, you could just be cleaning your house and doing garden work and walking around your house and you're still getting a good workout in. And sometimes you just have to be okay with that, right? And not beat yourself up, because for many years I did beat myself up. Even during my running years, I would be like, I have to log in so many miles. I really want to do this marathon and I need to check the box here. And I was very rigid and not willing to be wanting to get out of that little box. I was like, I have to be in this box and leave me alone. And I have to get it done. If I get it done, then I'm happy. And if I don't get it done, then I'm not happy. And looking back, I think, wow, I could have been more had the energy and strength to do what I needed to do without having to kill myself. And I think that's a takeaway for anybody, right? Is not get down on yourself, because fitness can really bring us down. I mean, it brought me
Absolutely.
down so many times because I'd be like, I don't look like this. I want to be a certain way. I want to do that. And I can't I mean, fitness can really mess with your mind. And if you can just have a positive um, outlook and say, there's only so much I can do and it's going to be okay, then that is so huge, because then you can walk away and go, I got it done. I got something done. I feel really good. I'm going to move through my day and be an effective person, wife or husband, mother or father. I can do what I need to do, because that's what's most important. All right. The family, who are the people in your lives, maybe your job. That's what's important, not just solely, oh, fitness is, you know what I mean? Because you could get so wrapped up in
You
that
can.
world and it's not going to bring you happiness. What's going to bring you happiness are your people, the people around you. Um, and then just staying positive.
Wow. That
So,
was great, Christine. There's just so much fire there. And I didn't want to get into this, but I want to give you just a very, very quick opportunity to speak on this. In those days when you were killing yourself in the gym, when you felt like were either sweating or you didn't get the job done, I'm curious, was like, what set that precedence? Was it like, the reason I asked that question is because I find that, unfortunately, comparison with others is the driving force for a lot of people. They it's unhealthy comparison. I find that stands in the way of a lot of people. One of my sayings is, I use other people as inspiration and motivations, but don't use them as the mark of your success. That's the way I look at things. But I'm curious, did that have a factor to play at all?
100%, 110%. Because um, in the early days, there wasn't a lot of social media. Okay. So we're talking early 90s, all the way probably up to like 2000 and, even 12. There wasn't a lot. There's only, you see certain people that you aspire to. Oh, I'd love to look like that. And oh, I'm going to do that. Oh, how do you work out? Okay, I'm going to put that into my workout. And that's pretty healthy. And you're not so like comparing, but you're changing it up, and you're trying to do these things that either make you feel good or you feel accomplished. Now the like about 2012, 2013, 14 is when I would say maybe Instagram was starting to come into the forefront. Now with Instagram and even Facebook, you see, or I would see women, and I thought they're beautiful and they're ripped and they're, wow, what? And so, yes, that is a huge part of anybody or any person who is on Instagram. They're going to see certain people who have very beautiful physiques, and you're going to always be comparing. Yes, that is a problem. Yes, 110%. So yes, that is during that decade, because when you hit your 40s, you're almost like, I just need to kick it up. I just want to feel really good, and I want to
Mm-hmm.
look good. And then you're seeing all these women, and you're like, how can you not compare yourself, right? You do want to use them as inspiration. And I think that's how I view a lot of my fitness accounts that I follow today. I love what they're putting out there. I love their messages, creativity. I embrace it. I want to be like a cheerleader for other women who are doing great things. And I don't want it to bring me down, because what good is that, right?
Yeah.
And we see that with like even my my girls that are my one that is has children. As they look on Instagram and they follow these women that have blogs and beautiful pictures on Instagram, how can you not compare? And sometimes it brings you down.
Mm-hmm.
So far, it's not worth it, right? It's not
Yeah.
worth it to bring that into your world. And so sometimes you just have to get off and just say, I need to take a break from that, because it's not healthy for my mind. My mind is really bringing me down because of what I'm viewing. And so we do need to set our phones down and walk away from that and be happy with who we are. And my own journey is different from anybody else's journey, but it is hard when you're on Instagram or Facebook and you see these people with these beautiful bodies. How can you not compare yourself, right?
Yeah.
Any woman does that. Any woman looks at another woman and says, wow, she looks so great, I want to look just like that. But if you're constantly scrolling and looking at these women and oh, she's in the gym and she's doing this and she looks like that, it can really bring you down. And
Mm-hmm.
it has brought me down so many times. And I just have to plug in and walk away. There's so many other things to do in my world. And I feel like I need to stay positive. Not only for me, but I had all these little children. Now I have all these grandchildren. I need to stay positive for me. I need to love myself. I need to love my husband and my kids and be happy with who I am and embrace that. But if you are entrenched in that world as our youth are, it is so easy to get caught up in that. And man, there's a downside to that world. And I've seen it firsthand with my kids. And even they have recognized it, which makes me happy that they can recognize, what, I'm on it too much. I need to set it down. I need to walk away. They're adults. I mean, I'm not going to come in and be like, well, you shouldn't, to my 26-year-old, you shouldn't, because they know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
They're aware. But yes, it's, we could go down that road,
Yeah.
be there for a long time.
But
So.
needless to say, you've overcome that. Your priorities have changed. You're looking at legacy now. You're looking at your 6 kids, your grandkids that are currently here, and the grandkids that are to be. So yeah, you're projecting forward. You're looking at your immediate family, your growing family, and that's what's important to you today, which is, I think, the underlying message here, right? Fitness is so important. It can be, you can look at it from a very negative lens too, if you allow it to, right? But it does facilitate so much more than that. So I think that's great. Let's quickly touch on your personal Instagram. Like I said at the very beginning in the intro, you resonated with me and my team because of the way that you approach exercise, right? Not just the fact that you have 6 kids, of course, that is amazing, but it's your very pragmatic approach. So first, remind the viewers what your handle is on Instagram, and then what can they expect to find if they follow you or your profile?
Okay, my Instagram is handle is fit mama of six, and it's just the number six. And again, the reason I started Fit Mama of Six in 2014 was to just show basic tips that you could incorporate into your workout at home. And because there's many things that you can do at home, and you can get very creative. And I think a lot of us have during the pandemic. But in 2014, that wasn't always the case. When I was viewing Instagram at that time, there were a lot of people in the gym just doing gym work at home with a band, and or with what else I've used a broom. I've used chairs. um, I've used uh, you name it, I've used it as weights. And what if you follow my account, I just give little tips that you could do to change up maybe a certain exercise so that you can do it or replicate it at home and not always have to go to the gym. Sometimes I get a little wild hair and I'll be doing upside down or hand, yeah, wall workouts. And sometimes you can get a really good workout just a wall and your body. And so if you follow my account, it's just fit tips is what it is. I don't do an entire workout. I know that that's fun, but that's not where I wanted to go with my Instagram. I just wanted to keep it simple because I had a lot of other people I was taking care of, and I wanted to just do a small snippet of maybe one exercise that you can do 3 different ways, or maybe 3 moves that maybe will target your shoulders, or some core exercises, because that's so important. I do a lot more core today than I have ever before, because I've noticed in my 50s, as I'm in my menopause years, that's where a lot of my weight is distributed, is around the middle. And so everything kind of starts to shift when you get a little bit older. Unfortunately, that does happen. And so I think for me, I've been focusing more on my core workouts than ever before. So, because that's what's important right now in my life. And so I showcase just different exercises. So.
That's great. And just one final message here, for the viewers and the audiences. For the mom that looks at you, going back to that comparison factor, that looks at you and is like, man, I have 1 kid, 2 kids, 3 kids, and I can barely get a hold of my life, and she's doing it with 6. I cannot compare myself to her. What is your message to them?
My message would be is I was there. I was there at the very beginning. I felt the exact same way. Um, and it can really bring you down. Understand that there are 24 hours in a day. You can do 15-minute increments, 10 minutes increments of something to help with your fitness journey. And know that as you go through your fitness journey, there's going to be times where you're going to be able to devote an hour to a workout. But maybe you've got 2 little ones at home, and you're like, that's absolutely not going to happen, because when one is asleep, one's awake, and the other's asleep. And how do I make that work? Somehow, some way, you can make it work. Even if and you have to look at your housework and things that you do around the house, and walking up and down stairs, that has got to be part of it. Because at the end of the day, on a Saturday, when I'm just doing housework, I'm tired. It's like when you've been walking around all day long, you're like, "Ooh, I'm exhausted." And you're like, "I didn't do anything. I was just walking around." Guess what? You've been moving your body. So be kinder to yourself. It is a journey. It's not a sprint. It's this long, lifelong journey, and you have to look at it that way, because what I was doing in my 20s, I'm doing something completely different now in my 50s. So be kind to yourself. Find your time. When the babies are asleep or busy, They could be crawling around your legs and you can still be getting a workout in. This, you can make it happen if you want it. It's all about your mindset and what you tell yourself. So
Your passion, and specifically your passion around this message, is contagious. It really, really is. And I love it. And so, Christina, we'll leave you with this. If a person is living an evolved life, what does that mean to you? Evolved.
evolved. I would just say that, yeah, we do. We evolve through our fitness, through our children as we grow, and as our children grow and they start to leave the house, you can see the fruits of your labor through your children, and how they raise their children. It comes full circle, right? this these different times in our life are only for a minute. Okay, I look at my son who's now 30 and I'm like, how is he 30? And I look at my daughter and I'm like, how does she have like 2 kids? And they've evolved, and I look at that and I think I've evolved too. I've changed as a mother, and now I'm a grandmother. And so I feel like it's a constant thing. It's not ever stopping. It's going to be, you are constantly going to be evolving in your journey, in your, not just in fitness, in your home life, your children, your husband. You're always evolving. I don't look at it as like, oh, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
I've hit it. No, I feel like it's going to be this continuous journey. You know, I could be in my 60s and my message will be completely different, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still evolving. I'm not stopping. I'm changing always, hopefully for the better, right? So I hope that I'm still doing good things in my 60s and in my 70s, but it might look different. So I haven't stopped. And evolving is embracing those changes. And just, I think, your mindset, not stopping, not thinking this is it. You've got to always embrace the next challenge, the next part of your life. So I don't think I've just stopped, and you know what I mean? I feel like I'm still evolving. I haven't
Of
stopped,
course.
Boo.
That was an excellent answer. Christine, I had so much fun. I really valued that conversation. And I can speak on behalf of men. Like, of course, just naturally, you're going to um, you're going to appeal to women, of course. But speaking on behalf of men, because myself, listening to your answers, the way you speak, your passion behind your message, I find inspiration in it. Projecting my life looking forward, I wish, I hope I will embody your philosophy as I go through my own fitness journey, as I pass on my lifestyle onto my own kids. I'm very, very much going to carry this pragmatic philosophy that you have around exercise. And I implore you to continue doing what you're doing. You are making a difference, and you are doing a very good job of putting your message out there. So thank you very much, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. I've so enjoyed this, Boo. I appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of My Evolved Life. If you found any value at all, and I know you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button below so you're always notified of new episodes. We'll be releasing a new episode every single week. So until next week, live an evolved life.